I am very pleased to introduce Dr. KARTHIKEYAN to you, a saint to me. He was the former director of the Central Bureau of Investigation in 1998 and the Director General of the National Human Rights Commission in India, and he also headed the special investigation team that solved the Rajiv Gandhi assassination case, on which he has written about in one of his books. He was born to an agricultural family in a small village in Tamil Nadu in India, and after his first BA, he worked in the field of agriculture in the ancestral farms of his native village for a year. Next, he got a degree in law and was enrolled as an advocate in the Bar Council of Madras and joined the Indian Police Service in 1964. KARTHIKEYAN has also held various other important offices, such as the Secretary of the Embassy of India in Moscow, Russia, Embassy of India in Sydney, Australia, as the President of the Aged Care India in New Delhi. He is fond of upgrading the healthcare in India and the care of the elderly. KARTHIKEYAN has also been invited and presided over many spiritual societies and inaugurations in which he inaugurates and supports the spiritual societies all over India, which is where I met him, at the Pyramid Spiritual Society, and I was graced there by his radiance. Welcome, dear Dr. KARTHIKEYAN. Now we are here live with Dr. KARTHIKEYAN. Thank you so much for joining me from India. I am here in Bali with you, and I always feel so connected to you. You have an incredible spirit. I will just briefly say to the audience who just saw this beautiful introduction made available through the Pyramid Meditation channel, and YouTube channel dedicated to promoting meditation and the message of Patriji, Brahmarshi Patriji, who promoted the concept of the pyramid that you just saw the introduction of. Thank you very much for allowing me to use that introduction. Below this description, you will find the link to PMC channel if you would like to read and listen to more interviews by eminent spiritual leaders in India. Please follow that channel. Thank you, KARTHIKEYAN, for being here.
Thank you, Ilona.
We met in Bangalore at one of the biggest pyramid. It holds 5,000 people, at a meditation center where you preside off and inaugurated an event, and you preside over a lot of spiritual events. Sri Ravi Shankar has invited. You are invited by all the major leaders, including the presidents. You are a major player on this planet, and yet, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you for your kind words.
You are supporting in India, as one of the many things, the elderly generation. And today
Yes.
the subject is elderly generation needs care, robotics, consciousness, and what is true spirituality, and what do we need to remember for the next decades to come. So my question to you is, first of all,
Yes.
what is it that you are trying to promote in the elderly care? What do you find are some of the most important things that elderly people need?
Yeah. See, basically, the elderly people need support because the same amount of physical activity is not possible. The body gets aging. So the movements, even for normal daily care, we have to support them. So we take up with the society, with the government, some more facilities for the elderly people. After all, whatever comforts people are enjoying today is because of the hard work, sacrifice of the people who are now elders. In their younger days, they worked hard and created all these facilities. The youngsters, the government are enjoying. So don't forget, be grateful to those people. Today they are older, they need support. Basically physical support. For example, existence, their movements. Sometimes, the other day, last week, I was in a place in South India called Amar Seva Sangam, where two gentlemen, they suffered stroke, paraplegic. Below the knee, nothing is functional.
Oh.
They talk brilliantly, very kind-hearted people, but nothing is functional. Well, something happened, some stroke. But both these gentlemen, they have to be helped even to move from place to place, even to feed. They had invited them home in Delhi. two tough youngsters carry them in the wheelchair and bring them, and then the food is served. One of them will mix the food and put them in the spoon in the mouth. These gentlemen cannot even raise a hand. Then they swallow the food. That is the way they dependent. But then they can speak. So when they on the iPad or video, they connect them, then they speak. On their own, they cannot do it. But these two, out of compassion for many disabled people, some children are born like that. They have to be trained even in toileting. And they take care of them. They have got an established institution. Thousands of people are being helped by them. These two totally disabled people. But they take care of hundreds and thousands of others. Some are born like that. Some have lost their limbs later on, accidents and all that. They give them, rehabilitate them, normal life. More than anything else, Ilona, what they give them is compassion, love, love and care. Each one of them amazing, amazing. Each one of them feeling.
You know, I read, actually, it was just last week, a beautiful contribution by a female researcher, and I forgot her name right now. But she said, she was asked the question, when in the anthropomorphic development, and when do we recognize that a civilization is starting to become civilization? When do we know that there is a civilization? And she said, and you would have assumed when there's agriculture, when there are implementations of tools. And she said, it's the first time when I see a mended bone. She said, the first time I see a mended bone, I know that care and compassion has been put before the personal survival. And it's the first time and the first sign of civilization developing. If you think of animals, as soon as they have a broken bone, are needing mending or support of any kind, the animal is left alone to be eaten by the next predator, and that's the end of that story. Humans, on the other hand, provide for the first step. And I loved it. When I read it, I thought, oh my God, this is the wisest thing I've ever heard. When she saw the first time a bone was healed meant that somebody waited long enough with that person, just like you described, fed them, gave them shelter and protection to make sure they could walk again and continue with their life and their normal aging process. So when you talk about what we need is care in the physical sense, but care, and that's the first sign of civilization, that we care to give care. So now let's look, I sent you that little clip I'm going to play from Japan. Japan has an aging society. A lot of people, 25% of the aging society is over 65. It's a large number.
Yeah.
The figure 25 is children and 50 is the adults. Both are going to work. There's nobody left to care except the people paid for to care, and that's a huge burden financially for most people. So what do you then think about robotics being used in physical care to substitute the feeding, the caring, the entertainment, the exercising? What's your take on that?
The reality is there are more, it's called minorities. Either they are below 5 years needing support, or above 65, 70 years again needing support. Okay. But then, even for bathing, even for washing themselves, they cannot do it as I told you, these two people. They take care of them. Those children, even the parents cannot do that. They bring them. Here, they are dedicated people trained to take care of them. Not only people cannot dare to crawl, they are carried, put in the wheelchair, even in a wheelchair, then they have to be trained how to operate those chairs. And then, but they are very useful. Normal life, because after an accident, when your backbone is broken, paraplegic, but here there are institutions which train them. There are hospitals also now. They train them how to take care of themselves. Otherwise, suppose there's a husband and wife. The husband is the earner normally. He meets with an accident. I've seen of even not only elderly people, even youngly married people, within a month of the marriage, the man going on a motorcycle, meet an accident.
Yes.
So what happened now? Now the wife has to work.
That's
The wife has to work, then who will take care of him?
That's it.
We are elderly or youngsters, then they are trained. These people are trained, beautifully done. My
Yes.
friends are doing it. How to take care of yourself morning to evening.
It's exercise time at Shintomi Nursing Home in Tokyo. Today's instructor, Pepper, a humanoid robot brought in as part of a program to address labour shortages in the care sector. For some residents, interacting with the robots is liberating. I can communicate with them and I don't need to be too careful about the things that I say. But on the other hand, if they were human beings, I'd have to think first about what kind of people they are. Those looking for more of a warm and fuzzy feeling can take care of pet robot dogs. When I petted these robots for the first time, they moved around like real living animals. I think they're cute. The nursing home has introduced a total of 20 robots since receiving funding from Tokyo's metropolitan government back in 2013. As well as offering residents company, they also relieve workers of physical tasks. Such forms of assistance are likely to become more commonplace as Japanese society ages. People over 65 now account for well over a quarter of the population. And with the birth rate remaining stubbornly low, the number is only set to rise. With a shortage of human care workers, robots could soon become a regular nursing home fixture, even if they're not everyone's choice of companion for their twilight years.
Now, robots will improve even more. They will look life-size, like they make them for sex dolls. They even think they will have marriage between humans and robots. Now, what do you feel about humans being cared for by robots, even though maybe, yes, they need it, the husband or the wife or another caretaker, there are not that many that can take care of that huge number of people who need care. What do you think about robotics giving?
See, if the disabled person due to accident or age is not able to move, but that person has to be helped. But then the lady has to go to work and earn money to look after him or the children. In that case, what happens? Basic movements like moving, bring the food here, or move my chair, or operate, they open the door, or bring that something. The robots are very helpful, useful. Next best. Next best. If there is no next best. So in such cases, they are of great service. I saw them. It's going to happen because more and more people are going to become elderly.
And now in Japan, they're building these robots in anticipation that this will be exported to all the nations. And they're thinking, yes. So now they give these older people a fluffy dog with fuzzy hair, and so they can pet them. They give the entertainment, so talking robots to say, and
some
so
love,
but
some care, and they can respond. They can respond to some extent. You know, when you pat them, they can move their head, make some noise. So this, but then good. These are good developments, but can never replace the human love. But what else can you do?
Right. Okay. So the question is, what else can we do? What will happen to our society when we say, well, we need robots? I tell you, I need my washing machine. I'm not going to wash all my clothing by hand.
Yes.
So let's say we need the machines. Yes, I can see the reasoning. But what with all the people who think that they are the companions? What do you think will happen in the long term? When humans are exposed to machines.
In the long term, physical needs can be met by robots up to a point. What about your emotional needs?
Yes.
For that, you have to go more and more for spirituality and meditation.
So you're saying, okay, so do you think
So
that
I should be able to sit, close my eyes, and meditate some inner satisfaction.
and
Some
so
that
you're
will help.
to go inward, to go and connect with one's own soul.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So that is why there is a need for more spirituality, more meditation, spiritual practices, faith in some superior power, divinity, nature.
Okay. I can see where this can go. Remember, you and I have met on various occasions. We have sat at a restaurant, and instead of eating, we would go into silence. We would close our eyes and we would connect our souls and spirit. You are beyond an amazing human being in all the political worlds that you've covered. You are being invited to all these spiritual places because you are a luminous light. As
Why
humble
do they
as
call? Because they feel
yes,
some energy,
yes.
some compassion.
And so we could do that, and we still can do that across the planet. You in India, me here, we can sense the presence. And so you're saying that when people are taught to go inward, they can connect to the silence and the power and the superpower within, and we can be able to connect with other people in an intimate, deep spiritual way that gives us the care. Even though maybe the robot takes care of the physical needs, we still can give each other the presence if we train it. I mean, that
Absolutely.
I'm just thinking as we're talking here.
No, you are absolutely right. That is going to happen. That will happen. Otherwise, people will go crazy.
Yes,
It is not
because
only the physical needs, your mental, emotional needs are to be fulfilled. You need love,
yes,
care, unconditional love. And
you
just
yes, how you've had a very, very wonderful wife who you honor to the deepest end, and we participate in honoring her every year on her anniversary of departing from this planet. You have experienced a tremendous amount of love with your partner in life. How would you, if you gave me a description of what love is, what would it be? What is the quality of love that maybe a robot cannot give, even though it says, I love you, I love you, I love you, you know? What is it?
even now she is not there physically, but I'm also going through moments of depression. Then quiet close, her thoughts comes and she comforts me.
Oh,
Yes, she comforts me from the world beyond.
yes.
And that boosts me up. Yes, there are moments, so many unfortunate things happen in your life, but then I think of her and close my eyes and she comforts me. No, carry on. I am there.
So the love and soul live in a dimension of its own. Can you give me a story in your life that would exemplify the power of the supernatural presence that comes in, is something that we can follow, where we can go and say, "Ah, a robot wouldn't be able to pull that one off." It's like what exemplifies maybe a moment of love or of experiencing of transcendental nature, something that truly is that other energy.
Maybe in due course, the technology may improve the robots to show a little more care and love. Maybe, we don't know, but can never replace human love.
So
Because there are no emotions.
yeah, so tell me first a story of how you would describe a transcendental experience where you said, I mean, you just shared one with your wife. There could be people who say, well, if you believe there's your wife, that's nice, but you know what? I'm more practical. I'd like to hear a more tangible story of supernatural energy affecting the physical world. Do you have a story to share?
No, that's why if you have deep faith in spirituality, in a power, a divine power, causality, that can also comfort you. You go into 16, instead of getting depressed and disappointed and helplessly, you close your eyes, go into meditation, think of the supreme power, the divine power, you think there's somebody with you.
Yes.
You're not helpless. That companion is always there.
Absolutely. And
There, that is why people go into deep meditation and they are blissful. What's called blissful, it's possible.
yes.
That's why, along with the development of remote and others, we should also promote the spiritual values, faith in some divine. Ultimately, everything is, the part of a divine only. So
Absolutely.
you must have then that's the only possibility of developing the spiritual powers also on the other side, along with the robots. So the robot for your physical needs, for emotional needs, your faith in divine.
I actually feel that when humans are able to return their gaze to the source, magical things happen. And sometimes we get help in our life of whatever problems we try to solve that come from a dimension that we don't have a logical explanation for. Has that ever happened to you in your life where you needed help and there was grace, something helped you solve, maybe even in your professional life, a solution came to you that came out of another dimension or place?
Yes, there are moments of where you total depression or helplessness. What to do? So, you just go in within and connect to the universe all over, power everywhere. But from within only you can connect it. It descends in you. You get connected and you get immense power and satisfaction.
Yes.
It
And
happens.
it does happen. I've written books about the power of the supernatural consciousness, the one that I call God, the divine, helping and guiding. And so when you talk about destiny, you write about and you spoke about that you weren't afraid in your life. You did your work despite all the amazing challenges. When other people turned the job down, you said, it's
Yeah.
my duty, I will do it, and my time is destined by God, nobody else.
Yes. I got divine guidance, power, fear, how to get over the fear. That nobody, 100 policemen cannot give you. That courage has to come within. That is the divine power. It gives you accepted a task. The divine power will. After all, what is the whole thing is vibration. Ultimately, there is nothing physicality about it. All energy and vibration. We are part of it.
And
So, and that comes the universal, the movement, divine. You merge with it. That's why you get brilliant. How did these rishis, munis, thousands of years back, they did the distances of between the planets. All that they have written, there was no science at that time.
yes, when you just said the rishis could see things from time and
That is because I asked the masters, how do you do it? They say when you are in such deep meditation, deepest form meditation, there you are in one with the universe. You are one with the universe. And then whatever you will, it is there, nothing new is happening. So it is revealed to you. It's revealed to you, and then they write down all these things. Today, the scientists are validating all those things written thousands of years back when there was no science. Even the solar eclipse and so on, all these things, solar eclipse you see the other day, all over. They have written about all the things. They have predicted when it's going to happen.
yes, and today we are speaking
I
about
asked the masters, you hardly have studied anything. In so many subjects, whatever you have written is proved by the science. He says, because you are vibrating all the time, that universal energy, whatever you may call it, in whichever name, and you are able to attune to it in deepest of meditation. You are one with the universal vibration, and whatever you want, it is there, revealed to you. You
exactly.
become the medium. Nothing is new.
True. We
No.
are able
So
to
what?
receive information because we stick our heads above the clouds, and there time space is unified, and we have access to the past and the future, to the eternity. And I think it's when our heart is connected with the eternal source.
It's a unified force.
Yes.
Ultimately, it's the unified force, maybe cellular level, whatever it is. Each cell, millions of cells. How do trillions of cells in our body, and millions are dying every day, and new are created now. And each cell has a life of its own, energy of its own. Is it just a miracle? That is because ultimately there is a divine energy. Origin, we don't know, but it is vibrating all the time. That's what makes you and feel the same feelings. Thousands of kilometers away, I can feel. You can feel it.
I do.
See, that is the reason while robotic physical science should improve on side, physical science also should develop further to make more and more people get involved in their inner journey.
So, with what you have said about robots taking care of needs, the washing machine takes care of washing. It's okay to have the help, but not to be confused with substitution of love. Even if the robot says, I love you, how are you? You look a little pale. To know what the difference is. And we can train that. And I love how you say that we need to learn, all of us need to connect to within, connect to that divine unified field, the source. And then it allows us to be connected, like the hand, a thumb and a finger, the little finger are connected to one hand. They are part and parcel, but apparently they're separated. So you and I, although we live so many miles apart, can feel the connection. We can share love, compassion, care, respect, honor. And I also loved what you said is that we need to develop spiritual virtues, compassionate care, doing the right thing. It's not becoming lawless or selfish because we can push the button and get all our needs met. We still live in a world of the karmic law, and the giving is what preempts the receiving. So what we share, what we care, what we give is the pay it forward, the good karma, that which showers not only us, but everyone around us and gives us meaning in our life.
So ultimately, the joy, pleasure, and pain we feel within.
Yes.
It is not outside. Outside, everything may be good, but still you may feel depressed. There may be no comfort outside, but still you can be happy because everything is within.
I agree. So when we are in touch with the power within, when we nurture that, not in 10 years when the robots may look like humans, even more so confusingly than now, we need to start practicing what makes us human. And, when you said, who knows, maybe a robot can have feelings, I ask anybody, where does a robot have a heart? Where do you have the nerves, the ganglia, the feeling centers that says, I feel actual pain, sadness, depression? I've heard a robot say, I feel depressed, I feel angry, I feel this. But it takes so many words out of all the conversations, puts them together, and looks like it's a real thing. And if I listen, and I've heard people say, Replica is a chatbot, a psychological tool for reflection, is more like my friend than any of my other friends. I am very worried about our humanity, which is why I did this conversation with you and ask you, and I love what you say, guide us inward now to connect with that higher force and radiate. Even when people are unable to do anything and have to lay in bed, they can connect and connect with others on another dimension and will surpass that loneliness by a sense of merging energies, by becoming, 1 second, I'm going to make both of us show, by connecting to energetically outside, beyond time, space, beyond the speed of light.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So ultimately, whether you are in heaven or hell is decided by you, something within you.
Mm.
It is not the riches and powers and pomp and show gives you. No. They may be the most miserable. Whereas the poorest of the poor, man on the street, may be the happiest. Because ultimately, and then your compassion and all that,
Yeah.
Yes. That is the reason. That's the reason I said, don't hate others. Don't become jealous. Don't kill, because you are killing another life. Have compassion for any being. Then only you can. First, you have to compassion for yourself, because there are millions of life forms within us. Each cell has a life, has a heart, has power, and then you nurse. Then they get connected. The millions of cells get connected. If I'm angry, the anger goes to all the cells. They feel sad, they die. If I am happy, if I am compassion, kind, I'm talking to you, I'm happy. All my cells are happy because they are all interconnected. Like that, lives are also all over the world interconnected.
And you know,
Either everybody is happy or nobody is happy.
I'm just thinking of the research that was done with the Transcendental Meditation. Maharishi, who initiated it, the group they did it on the East Coast in America, where they had 5,000 people meditating, and they measured the crime rates. And when people went into these peaceful states, crime rates dropped. So every single one of us influences, like you said, all parts in our body are connected. If we're peaceful vibration, anti-aging vibrations come in, healthful vibrations come in. If we're angry, even just one little cell, and we are becoming reactive and say, he's stupid, he's bad, or even worse, do bad things, it becomes bad for the entire living human structure. So it's very inspiring for us to know the power of one, the power of each of one of us to make a difference. When we go into peace, it ripples out. And all of us do it together, and more will influence the entire field.
Each thought is a wave.
Yes.
Each thought is a wave, it's spreading. Is a good wave or bad wave depend on me.
Yes. Yes.
Each thought is a wave. So the universe is full of kind words. Same thing with nature. When you go to a mountain, when you go to Bali, places, how do you feel happy? Because it's a peaceful atmosphere.
Yes.
Isn't it so?
You know, today I was quoting you to someone, and it was somebody experienced a conflict with the in-law, with his brother, and he said, he believes that, I believe this, I can't stand it, my blood just starts boiling. And I said, let me tell you something that I learned from Dr. KARTHIKEYAN. He had written a list of things that he had learned with his time on planet Earth with age. And the one thing that what you shared stood out above all that I shared with him today. And you said, with age, you find out that it is more important to share harmony than it is to be right.
Yes.
And I took that to heart, and I am carrying that in my heart. One of your inspirations you sent in your newsletters out. And I shared that with him, and I could see it settling in. And maybe all of us can take that home. Next time we want to have an argument, ask ourselves, you inspired me. I ask myself, because I tend to, be sharp in my head, and I go, I have 5 million arguments before the other person has one ready. But is it important? Is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? Is maybe harmony more important or more valuable with our relatives, with our good friends, that we can have above and beyond all our differences and whatever beliefs we share? Thank you for that.
I do. I face situations even today. You say, okay, beyond a point, I said, no argument. I said, right, harmony is more important than becoming a winner. Because when you're a winner, somebody is a loser. That person is angry, suffers. That person suffers. I also feel empathy. Okay, harmony. Okay. You believe in what you believe. I believe. Let us not fight. It's very difficult to make compromises, but you do it in the larger interests of peace.
Beautiful.
Then there will not be a war between Russia and Ukraine. It should be at every level. Your ego, your ego. I am big, and my country is big, I am superior. No, nobody is superior. Because the breath which goes out does not come back to me. Nobody will keep me for even 24 hours.
Mhm.
The people who say we love for you, will die for you, they will not keep you more than 24 hours in the house. Isn't it so?
It is absolutely so. So I will take that to heart. It is beautiful to hear you say that. And compromise means trying to have empathy, understand.
Not surrendering. Compromise means not surrendering. Telling, okay, we will not fight.
Mm-hmm. So for example, yes.
You have your concept of rightness.
I
So you can live
accept you.
in peace.
Yes.
You can live in peace. You can live your own way. I live in my own way.
Right.
You don't have
And
to fight. If you fight, you are not going to prove anything.
yes, and it is our ego that wants to be right. And I told my friend, I said, everybody thinks they're doing the right thing. Everybody's convinced of themselves being the absolute right person, the right thing, and doing the right thing. Even criminals think they are doing whatever they need to do because whatever it is.
Yeah, they all justify. They said we did it because at that moment of time it was right to do.
Say that again.
People do wrong things, but when they do, they think that's the right thing to do.
That's it. That's it. And so when we realize that all of us think we're doing the right thing, I love how you said we can at least extend compassion and empathy to the other. It's mind-boggling when you say when I win, the other one loses, and they will become angry because nobody wants to lose, right? So how can I make it a win-win deal where we listen to each other and are respectful of each other? So on that note, I just wanted to end with a little clip that I had prepared from 1954, the story of Harlow, Dr. Harlow, who did the research with the rhesus monkeys. Actually, I'm not sure if he was a doctor, but not Harlow did the research with rhesus monkeys being brought up by metal-like puppets that were giving milk to the little baby monkeys, rhesus monkeys. And what they found out is that the little monkeys that were given even of rocking motion and milk socially failed, were dysfunctional as they were growing up. They were cowering, anxious, aggressive when they were not given this extra energy that is untouchable, but it makes all the difference. It's called love and presence.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give the reference link for that research here. You can read it through. I learned it in psychology. I thought everybody knew about it. I'm finding out not everybody does, but it was research done over 60 years ago that is very important today that we remember. The care that we can give, the love, the thought, the prayer we can send to each other outweighs everything else, even the incapabilities. And yes, maybe functionalities could be used by robots, the vacuuming, the house cleaning, the whatever. But let's remember, if we strengthen our humanness and focus on our soul, the power we develop to radiate that light and that love becomes paramount. And that is what is going to save our humanity.
The power of love and compassion.
Yes.
Caring.
Thank you. Thank you very much for
Thank you,
our time. And
thank you for a thought-provoking conversation.
yes,
We will dwell on it more and more deeply.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.